Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Jaya Kishore Kishori Jaya Kishore Kishori Kishore Kishori Jaya Kishore Kishori Jaya Radha Sharad Bihari Radha Sharad Bihari Radhe Radhe Jaya Latu Makhan Chora Latu Gopal Jaya Srinath Ji, Jaya Srinath Ji, Jaya Girdharidhari Srinath Ji. Nitai Sachidulal Nitai Sachidulal Gaura Hari. Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Shri Subhadra. Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Gaur Pramanandi, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to today's program. So the reason I shifted here is last time everybody was looking here and then back. So I thought I will sit here then. आगे आना है तो आगे आ सकते हो? Good. Let's start with Mangalacharan. We all can sing together. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamelam Shri Gurun Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shcha Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarurvyasya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so welcome once again to our, so we are going to continue with our Śrī brahma-saṁhitā, session 3. So we already covered few verses. So Brahmaji is the Acharya of our parampara. So last time we discussed text number 33. It is not very clear, right? Let me think, see if I can share on the Vedabase. No, not from here, but I can't click other windows here. Hmm? But anyway, I would need to share some verses from Vedas. I can't open it here. 15 मिनट इसमें निकल गए. Maybe I need to reshare. Hold on. Wait.
Drag it to the other side.
Oh, sure.
It's dual display.
Okay, great. Okay. 32 we did, Angani. Now we'll do 33. So everybody knows the tune we want to do together. Advaitam achyutam anatim anantarupam adyam purana purusham navayavanam cha vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhaktau govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. We can do once more. Advaitam achyutam anadi anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayavanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhaktau Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So we can read the translation. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha. Yet he is the person possessing the beauty of blooming youth. So we'll see, probably we will be able to discuss only this verse, looks like, because there's so many important words here. So let me share my PowerPoint again, if I can. Okay, great. So if we see this verse, there are some keywords here. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadem, Anantarupam, Adyam, Puran, Purusham, Navayavanam, Vedeshu Durlabham, Adurlabham, Atma Bhaktav. So basically, Lord Brahma is glorifying Krishna with all his qualities. So we will discuss each quality. So the first quality that is being discussed here is Advaitam, meaning one without a second. So meaning no one is equal or superior to Lord Krishna. That is what one of the quality of Supreme Personality of Godhead is. For example, in this world we see नया मॉडल आया सेल फोन का, तो रेप्लिकेट हो जाते हैं मॉडल्स, सेम मॉडल कई मॉडल्स आ जाएंगे, but they are different. They are different pieces. But when Krishna expands or manifests himself into many forms, he is same Krishna, Swayam Rupa, Swayam Prakash. So there is no difference between Krishna and his expansions. He is the same Krishna. And the example given in Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter is just like we see a necklace. In necklace, what is holding? Krishna is saying that I am the thread that is holding all the pearls in the necklace. So he is the Advaitam. He is the only one who can hold. Although we see pastimes of Krishna like Ras dance, or we see Brahma Vimohan Leela, where Krishna expands himself, but he is same Krishna, Swayam Prakash. There is a difference. We will discuss little more in one of the other discussion shortly. When did Lord Ram expanded himself? There was a pastime that comes when Lord Ram also expanded, just like Lord Krishna. When Lord Ram, no, Lord Ram. Bali Maharaj. No, in fact, he was hiding. He was not even expanding himself. He was even hiding. So when Lord Ram returned from Banvas, then all the Ayodhya, all the residents of Ayodhya, they were very jubilant. So they celebrated Diwali on that day. So they wanted to, everyone wanted to meet Lord Ram right away. So seeing their bhav, their prem bhav, Lord Ram expanded into many. So everyone thought that Lord Ram is, hugging him, or if there was a motherly bhav, then Lord Ram went and Gacharan Sparsh kiya. So that way Lord Ram also expanded in Ramayana. Second word here is Achyutam. What is the meaning of Achyutam? Who never falls down from his position. So when Krishna appears, he descends as it is in his spiritual body. Not like we as a soul, we have acquired this material body, which is not our real swarup. But when Krishna comes, his body is fully spiritual, as it is. And it is never under the control of material nature. So कुछ लोग बोलते हैं ना, भगवान राम को भी अपने कर्मों का फल भोगना पड़ा, तो हम किस चीज की मूली है? Very wrong philosophy. Lord never has to go through his any kind of material. He is never under the control of Maya, material nature. He might perform human-like pastimes that he performs to attract the devotees, but he's Swarat, always independent. Then we see the next word is, Anadim, meaning he is unborn. There is no beginning to Lord Krishna. How to understand that? First verse, Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karan Karanam. That he has no beginning, no birth. There is no birth for Krishna. So when Krishna appears in this world, sometimes, especially when he comes as Lord Ram, Lord Krishna himself, it may seem like he is taking birth, but that is his just pastime for the devotees. In reality, all his forms are eternal forms. He just does that childhood pastime to give pleasure to his devotees. So that's why Srila Prabhupada used to quote this verse many times. Janma karmacha me divyam. One who understands Krishna's birth, his appearance, disappearance, and all his activities, he is delivered already. So अगर हमारे को इतना faith है कि बस Krishna is not under the control of nature, he is the supreme personality, that is enough to carry forward us in the spiritual path.
भगवान के कुछ प्रधान अवतार होते हैं, तो कुछ ऐसे अवतार होते हैं भगवान के जो like he is doing for spreading some message, like he came as a Lord Buddha. So can we say Lord Buddha appeared or Lord Buddha was born here?
Again, the similar pastime. He appears, and it depends when he comes. There are different kinds of incarnations also. The ones which are very, very potent, the main avatars, they appear. But if, let's say, he is coming in the Shaktiya Vesh avatar, then he will do human-like birth also, will take human-like birth. Even in this case also, he appeared from the womb of Mother Devaki, right? But before that, he appeared, showed his 400 form, and even demigods came and they did the prayers. But to give the pleasure to Mother Devaki and the boon that he has given to Vasudeva and Devaki, he appeared from her womb also. But whatever incarnations of Krishna comes, they appear. Lord Buddha may be debatable. We have to research, but there is a different reason why he appeared as Lord Buddha. But as far as I heard, it was a very potent, one of the main avatar of Krishna, and he has a specific role to play. So sometimes he comes to establish dharma, sometimes to destroy the asuras, and sometimes to give pleasure to devotees. Or sometimes, as Krishna, when he comes, he does everything together. Then the other is Ananta Rupam. He has endless forms. There are two meanings, two understandings here. Number one, he has unlimited form. He can appear in unlimited forms. Various incarnations we see from Bhagavatam. And the second understanding is that his form is unlimited. Confusing? So let's take the first one first, second one first. When I say his forms are unlimited, his form is unlimited. So think about the Vishwarupa, or the universal form he showed to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Normally, when we see, if I'm looking at Surat, he has to be in front of me. If I see here or there, I can't see him. But when Krishna shows his universal form to Arjuna, anywhere Arjuna was seeing, it was Krishna's face, whether he sees left, right, top, down, wherever he was seeing. So that's how his form is unlimited. He can cover the whole creation with his form, right? That everywhere, no matter where he looks, he was seeing Krishna's face, his eyes, his hands, everywhere, legs. In that way, his form is unlimited. Now, the second understanding is that his forms are unlimited, meaning he can appear in unlimited forms, various incarnations, unlimited incarnations happening all the time. For example, Brahma Vimon Leela, again, what happened? Lord Brahma, he tried to kidnap gopas and cows when they were in the forest. Now, did Brahma really kidnap the gopas? Yeah, but did he really kidnap? What happened? Then, but there was gopas and cows that were taken away by Lord Brahma. He did, right? Right. So she's saying no, but why? There is a whole pastime that he took away, and then he came after some time. The whole year was passed. So the understanding is that nobody can touch Krishna and his pure devotees. They were the shadow images, just like it comes in Ramayana. Sita Maya, Ravan couldn't touch Mother Sita. It was the mirror image or shadow image of Mother Sita. So there were three sets of cowherd boys, gopas, and calves. One, the original, that Krishna actually hid them and put to some sleep. And the one, those were the shadow images that Brahma thought, he kidnapped. And one that Krishna expanded into unlimited forms. Now, why did Krishna expanded himself into those cowherd boys and calves? He could have protected them from the kidnap. Of whom? Because they desired. Everybody in the Vraj, in the Gokul, in the Vrindavan, they had a desire that Kash Krishna mera beta hota. Even the cows, they had a desire. So to fulfill that desire, this Leela happened. So the point is that Krishna could expand into unlimited forms, even as living entities. And to Brahma, he also showed his 400 form. That each of those gopas and calves and cows, they are 400 Vishnu. That's the vision Brahma got, and that's why Brahma got bewildered. He got very afraid, and right away he brought back whatever he kidnapped. So he has unlimited forms. Other example of how he expand any other pastime? Ras Leela. He unlimited gopis, he expanded. 16,000 Dwarka Leela, right? So Krishna is actually the source of unlimited incarnations. And how long this Raslila happened? One Mahara, there is a many Raslila that Krishna does. There is one Maharas that Krishna did for the whole night of Brahma. Whole night of Brahma. Now, how that happened within the same time period, beyond our conception. Krishna is the controller of time. And how long is that night of Brahma? Not beyond our calculation. Right? It is 4.32 billion years. Because he wanted to give that pleasure to gopis, Radharani. So the verse that comes in Bhagavatam is Ete cha amsha kala punsha Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. So after describing all the incarnations of Krishna, Sukdev Goswami says, okay, these are the main incarnations, but the original source of all these is Krishna. No, Brahmaji was totally bewildered. And why he was bewildered? Because what was happening in that when Krishna and cowherd boys went for herding the cows and they were eating food, how Krishna was eating it? He was taking away from some other Gopal's plates and some mithai that was in some other Gopal's mouth, he was snatching and eating. To seeing this, Brahmaji was, ये क्या भगवान हो सकता है क्या? जो ऐसे ऐसे बच्चे जैसे काम कर रहा है. So he wanted to test him. So is this question, why did he get bewildered? Yes, yes. Krishna, because Krishna is Krishna. There are Asanghi Brahmas like Brahma, and our Brahma is the smallest Brahma.
Because the love was not there, there was knowledge, like he knew. And for the Krishna Leela, the love Leela, like he was exchanging it. It was an exchange of love, right?
Yes. And second reason is because Brahma had some pride that I know who Bhagwan is, but this cannot be Bhagwan. So he doubted. Second thing is Brahma may be the most knowledgeable person, but he is most knowledgeable within the universe. He is not beyond Krishna's illusory energy. That's why. So that Krishna wanted to prove that even Brahma cannot understand me. Even Krishna says, even I cannot understand myself. Krishna is ever expanding. That's why his forms, they are not fixed. Whatever we are hearing in Bhagavatam, 24 avatars, they are unlimited avatars. Those are, because our buddhi is limited, we can understand only that much. Every second, every moment, Krishna's forms are expanding. It's hard to believe how it is happening. His qualities are increasing. That's why it is said that Sheshnag, with his billions and millions of mouths, is continuously glorifying Krishna. And each glory is non-different from the previous one. It's all new. So it's a very transcendental thing. Good question, Mataji. Okay, then other quality Brahmaji is saying. Now it is also said, how can Brahma, who wrote this Brahma-saṁhitā, could get illusioned? Because this Brahma-saṁhitā is coming from when the universe was created. After that, Brahma composed that Brahma-saṁhitā. So some Acharya says this Brahma is different from the Brahma that came here. After it can be that also, but Acharya says this Brahma is from the previous previous life of Brahma, previous Brahma, and this Brahma who got illusioned is from this Brahma, this what we call this Mahayuga, this Yuga. So Puran Purusham, and Krishna is Ananta Rupam ho gaya, and then is Adyam, origin of all. Nothing much to discuss there. Okay, then Ananta Rupam, Adyam, origin of all. Now Krishna, when we say Adyam, origin of all, he expands himself in many, many forms. I will just say a few technical words, and if we have a desire to understand them, we can discuss them. Let me know. So there are different ways Krishna expands himself. Swayam Rupa, Swayam Prakasha, Tadetatma, Prabhava, Vaibhav, different. Balram, he comes into different category. Vishnu, he comes into different category. How Krishna expanded in Raslila, that comes into Swayam Prakash, non-different from Krishna. So there are different varieties. It's important to understand so that we don't get confused when people will challenge. Sometimes people will challenge us. How come this pastime may happen? How Krishna did this? So we should know these technical terms also. Not much, but at least a little bit. So if there is interest, we can discuss that topic later. Puran Purusham, he is the primeval person. Origin, he is the original person. It doesn't mean in some cultures how God is shown, old person with beard, wrinkles. It doesn't mean that Krishna is old. He is the original person. In some cultures, this or that. Not Indian cultures, but Western cultures. Okay. And some people think that he will be the oldest person in the whole creation. But he is Nav-Yavan, always ever youthful. So Krishna, because he comes as it is in his transcendental body, spiritual body, he never grows beyond 16 years. Even when he performed his pastimes on this earth, we see his pastimes 0 to 5 years, 5 years to 10 years, 10 years to 15, and 16, nothing after that. Even when he was 125 years old, when he left, he was as fresh, as youthful as 16 years. Even in Golok Vrindavan, the age of all the residents is not beyond 16 years old, at least in the looks and appearances. So it's Nav Yavanam. Then Vedeshu Durlabham. This is very important. So let me, there is slide or no slide. Okay. So in Krishna, now Vedasi Durlabham means difficult to attain by Vedas. We cannot attain Krishna by Vedas. So now here is a question. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Vedesha Sarver Aham Eva Vedyo. Meaning, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, by studying all the Vedas, I am to be known. Here Brahmaji is saying he cannot be attained by Vedas. So is there a contradiction? And what is the contradiction? No contradiction? Then how come there is no contradiction? Krishna is saying the purpose of Vedas is to know me. And here Brahma is saying you cannot obtain me by Vedas. Just by Vedas. Good point. Anything else? So it is true that by the purpose of all the Vedic scriptures, all our study of Vedic scriptures is that we are supposed to understand and know Krishna. But that is not the only thing. We have, without devotion, we cannot understand Krishna. Now, there is a nice verse. Let me see if I can. 3:15. So there's nice verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 3. Okay. So here Krishna, here Srila Kaviraj Goswami says, everywhere in the world people worship me according to spiritual injunctions, but simply by following such regulatory principles, one cannot attain the loving sentiments of the devotees in Braj Bhumi. So simply by following the regulatory principles mentioned in scriptures is not enough. We'll see more details here. Okay. One may understand the science of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the Vedic literatures. We can get access to Krishna's opulence and his Aishwarya and his qualities. And this does become a devotee of the Lord. That's the starting. And worship him within the regulative principles described in the scriptures. Very important that we follow that sadhana. But one will not know in this way how Krishna is served by the residents of Brajbhumi. So the goal, the highest goal is to serve Krishna and love Krishna just like the residents of Braja. One cannot understand the dealings of the Lord in Vrindavan simply by executing the ritualistic regulative principles mentioned in the scriptures. One may enhance the appreciation for the glories, but there is no chance for one to enter into personal dealings with him. Giving too much attention to understanding the exalted glories of the Lord reduces the chance of one's entering into personal loving affairs with the Lord. Why is that? By giving too much attention and understanding. It reduces the chance to have personal loving relationship with Krishna. Then it becomes an Aishwarya Bhav. Just like if we glorify somebody too much, right? His qualities, then we think there is a distance. He is great, I'm not that great. That love, that there will be a servant mood, not the loving mood, right? And that's why Lord Chaitanya appeared to give us these principles of loving dealings. So, is it making sense that just by Vedic scriptures, but just by reading Vedic scriptures, we cannot understand Krishna? So what should be the result of our study? We always say we should read the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So the idea is not to become a Shastri, not to become a scholar. The idea is, the goal is to develop devotion for Krishna and his devotees. When we know what Krishna likes, what Krishna, how Krishna deals with his devotees, when we read these scriptures, the idea is to learn the devotion, the loving service to Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, a person who accepts the path of devotional service. So it's the other way around. One who has learned how to love Krishna, he knows everything what is in the Vedas. He knows everything about charity, how charity should be done. He knows everything about tapasya, austerities. So he's automatically doing all the things. One who has developed this relationship, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So the idea is, the purpose of these scriptures studying, whatever we do, is not to become a scholar, but to develop devotion for Krishna and his devotees. So how will we know that? Our desire to serve will be more. We want to serve more and more. There is always enthusiasm when we want to Hare Krishna. There will always be enthusiasm when service will come to us. We want to serve more and more eagerly. That will be our priority. That will show our transformation of heart if we are reading these scriptures and understanding these scriptures correctly. Last time also, I think 2 weeks back also, we discussed, until there is transformation of heart, we cannot judge ourselves, our progress in spiritual life. So let's see, what is the time? 8:14. Okay. So there are two more quality, one more quality. So this one was very important, Vedeshu Durlabham. Now next one is Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. So Durlabham and Adurlabham, meaning easy to attain by pure devotion. So Durlabham means difficult to attain. Adurlabham means not difficult to attain, meaning very easy to attain. How? By pure devotion, pure loving service. Now, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Only by devotion I can be understood. So, in the Canto 1, Srimad Bhagavatam, we see, anyone remember the pastime of Krishna when he was leaving Hastinapur after Mahabharata war? Krishna stayed back in Hastinapur with Pandavas, and then he was leaving Hastinapur and going back to Dwarka. Anyone remember the past time when the ladies, the housewives of Hastinapur, they were glorifying Krishna? They had no knowledge of Vedas. They had no knowledge of any scripture. But I'm having a little trouble switching around, but it's a beautiful text I wanted to quickly run through. How, in spite of having no scripture knowledge, the descriptions, the glorification that those ladies were doing was far more attractive than any scripture could describe. So let's see if I can switch over again. Okay. Not working out. Can anyone open this SB Śrīmad Bhagavatam 1, chapter 1, canto 10? Canto 10. Just text 20. We will just read the text. How those ladies were glorifying Krishna. Absorbed in the thought. Yeah, go ahead, read. Yeah, read from here on the screen. Hymns of the Vedas. And when we read this whole, maybe we can read this one also.
It's like clearly illustrates the personality of Godhead as his definite remember him. He alone existed before this manifestation of the modes of nature, and to him only, and in him only, because he is the perfect Lord, all living beings merged, as if sleeping at night. Their energy expanded.
So although they had no knowledge of Vedas, they knew he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how he is the controller of the modes of nature. Everything they knew. And we will skip here. And yeah, go ahead. This one.
The dancers of red women often think
So they knew exactly, like, that if one has to become associate of Krishna, what they have to go through. These all is the subject matters of Vedas. The point is that one who has developed love for Krishna, he will automatically have all this knowledge also. Okay, let's see. And there are many other pastimes, like how the wives of Brahmana in the forest, their husbands were doing yagna, but they couldn't understand that it's Krishna, the Supreme Lord. But the wives of those Brahmins, they had the love for Krishna. So when Krishna and his Gopsakhas, they came to ask for food, Brahma said, who are you? We are doing yagna, we have to first do the yagna, then offer the food, then we can give it to you. Without understanding that Krishna, the Supreme Personality, is here. But their wives could understand who Krishna is. They knew. And then they right away, without even offering to anybody, they brought the food. So that's how this loving devotional service, the mood of love for Krishna, whenever we are serving, the point is that whatever service we are doing, we should not do it manually. Whether we are offering arti, whether we are offering bhoga, everything we are doing is for the pleasure of Krishna. So that mood should be there. Okay, so we'll stop here. Any question on this particular topic? One question could be how to attain pure devotion. We are talking about we have to develop pure devotion, the practical part. So any answers? Okay, we are talking about these big devotees, the ladies of Hastinapur, the pure devotees of Krishna, how to develop that. Cleaning our heart, right? How do we clean our heart? Is it getting cleaned? Yeah, but chanting is the most important thing we have to do. Why is it that our, or at least I'm questioning myself, my heart is not getting clean? Why? Yeah, the quality of chanting has to be improved. Are we really chanting or doing something else? Something else, right? Yeah, we all know that. So, and our chanting will become strong when our hearing is very, very good. Hearing of Krishna Katha. Acharya says hearing of Krishna Katha is very, very important in the association of sincere devotees. So when we say we have to hear from devotees about the Krishna pastimes and serve for three things: chanting, hearing Krishna's pastimes, and serving devotees. When we say serving pure devotees, what is the meaning of that? We have to obey their instructions. Serving means obeying their instructions. So when they say chant nicely, they're saying it very nicely, but they really mean chant nicely. They're saying it's just two words. Then when they say chant good rounds. So we have to really take it as what we have to do. When they say attend programs, go to temple, then they mean it. They mean by that we have to do it. They're not saying it casually. They're saying serve devotees. Then they mean it. Serve, devotees. Make loving relationships with devotees. Sometimes what happens? Some spiritual masters will come and people will come and they'll say, "Maharaj को instruction दीजिए." So Maharaj instruction देंगे, कुछ बोलेंगे. Then if you're not obeying that, better not to ask. If we can't, obey that. So we have to be very careful. So serving means it's like we are hearing the instruction, but not following it is like we have a honey jar, we are licking it from outside. We'll not get a taste. As simple as that. And what is the symptom that someone has developed Krishna prem? How will we know? Or at least we have developed the prem. That okay. Humility, like anyone can show off humility. Humble. Okay. The real everything comes in that he will be always talking about Krishna. No other thing. Always. That person will always talk about Krishna. That's what we see in our spiritual masters. Whenever they come, somehow their topic will get diverted to Krishna. Everything. And who is the topmost devotee of Krishna? Radharani. So we have to follow her footsteps. We have to take the shelter of Radharani. Now we can't take the shelter of Radharani directly. So that's why we have to go through devotees. That's where Narottam Das Thakur says, Tandere charan sevi bhakt sanebas, janam janam hoye ye abhilas. The desire should be that I get service of Krishna and his devotees every birth. Liberation should not be our desire. कि सबसे छुटकारा मिल जाए. बोलते हैं तब परेशान हो गए छुटकारा मिल जाए. That is not a pure desire. The pure desire is give me the service of Krishna and his devotees in every birth, no matter how I take the birth. very high state. So we can discuss more about it, but let's move on to next verse will not happen today. So quickly wanted to discuss about, yeah, these are all the different. So the more we look at these pictures, Srila Prabhupada says these pictures are the windows to spiritual world. So we should train our mind to see as much as of these pictures than what we usually see, movies or TV channels, whatever. Because these are the windows to spiritual world. These will amplify the process of cleaning our heart and mind. And then when we are chanting, what we are seeing all day or what we are talking about all day, that only comes in our mind. And especially when we are chanting, that's the thing that comes on. The more we are seeing these pictures, Krishna's pastimes will come into our mind and our quality of chanting will get improved. So today is the appearance day of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Very, very, very important personality. Why is it very important? One of the main reasons is he gave us Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is his disciple. And so quickly we'll go through, we'll try to glorify in the few minutes, which is really difficult, but we'll try. He is, so when we see this Guru Parampara, okay, this Guru Parampara, and Guru Parampara is also kept on the altar. So Srila Prabhupada here, then his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, then Gaur Kishore Das Ji Babaji Maharaj, and then Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he is son of Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj. The reason he didn't took initiation is because Bhakti Vinod Thakur wanted him to take initiation from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. And it's a very, very rare combination because Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj was very uplifted, very advanced spiritually, but he couldn't even write or read. He was illiterate in the material sense. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was kind of PhD in that age of his times. Very, very highly educated. And he was known as the living encyclopedia of his times. And his preaching style was, the reason he was very, very bold and very, very strong in preaching, it is said that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur preaching was what not to do. That's all he preached. And because what happened after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left and all his associates left from this planet, then the misinterpretation of his teaching started. To the point, if we see read the history, to the point that in Bengal, if somebody says I'm Vaishnav, people used to hate him. That was the degree of misunderstanding, misinterpretation, and that kind of environment the followers created later on because of their own interpretation, which was wrong of his teachings. Yeah, but even after, so this again happened after everyone left, all the associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. So that was after about 100 years after that. So Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur then started correcting those misconceptions, and it was very difficult for him. So he was praying to Lord that give me help, give me a son whom I can use in this preaching. So he prayed for the Lord for this, and then appeared Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Now his divine qualities were visible when he was child itself. So I think we are hearing today when he was born, how he was born, something with the umbilical cord. Like a Brahman thread. That's how he was born. So that was many divine signs were there. And then another thing happened was when he was 4 months old, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur was working for the government, he was posted in Jagannath Puri. So Rath Yatra was happening. And Rath Yatra suddenly stopped in front of Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj's house.
Generally doesn't stop.
Doesn't stop in anybody, and it stopped for 3 days. And they did everything to pull the cart. They couldn't move it. And we know the Pandas who have been to Jagannath Puri, they are very strong, right? It couldn't move. So when Bhakti Vinod Thakur realized that cart is halted there, what he did? For 3 days, he organized Harinam Sankirtan. And then he, seeing the opportunity, that cart is right in front of his house, he asked his wife to bring a little Bimal Prasad. His name was Bimal Prasad when he was child, and get the blessings of Lord. So they jumped over the cart, and as soon as they were near the Lord Jagannath, the little Bimal Prasad, he tried to touch the feet of the Lord, and the garland fell down. And garland just didn't fall down; it really fell down like Lord has garlanded him in the neck, properly in the neck. And then after, as soon as they get off the cart started moving. Never happened before this pastime. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur could realize that Krishna has heard his prayers, and he has been bestowed with a divine child. And he started training him in the proper shastras, and he established 64 Gaudiya Math in that time, and all across India. And actually, he was the first one who reached out to Western countries. He always had that desire. So he had centers in England, Germany also. And because of the fearless preaching, the way he used to preach, he was known as Narsingha Guru, Lion Guru. Very, very bold. And a lot of people tried to kill him also, the Brahmanas there. But of course, by Lord's mercy, he was saved. Now, any other pastime anyone would like to share that you have heard of? There is a Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhav. There is a book. A lot of pastimes are there. Right.
Like dal separately, rice separately.
Mixed up, yeah.
And then we have a dosh version of this.
दाल अच्छी है, सब्जी में घी कम है. दाल किसने बनाई है, सब्जी किसने बनाई है? Nice. Yeah, on that note, another pastime happened is when he was 4 years old. He ate mango at home. Just a 4-year-old child, right? Okay, खा लिया होगा. Then when his father found out, Bhakti Vinod Thakur found out, he really scolded him that how come you eat something which is not offered? And it was such a deep impact on that child that he never took a vow that I will never eat mango. Very strong vow.
I was like enjoying my senses. For these senses are not for us, like it's pleasure. Should use them for pleasure.
Yeah, first should be offered to Krishna. Now, anyone knows how many rounds he used to chant?
Any years he chanted 192 rounds?
Before he started preaching, he chanted those many rounds for 10 years. And it was 3 lakh, figure I forgot, 3 lakh something. So if we calculate, it will come out to 16 hours of chanting every day. And then he used to live in a hut, not in the house. He used to live in a small hut. And if the rain was happening, he used to take umbrella in one hand. He will never used to leave that place. And so very austere. And actually, Srila Prabhupada, that's why Srila Prabhupada also demonstrated the same strong approach. No compromise with the philosophy. Okay, that's a past time, but we can cover later. We'll take much time. He sent his disciples to Germany. They were not successful, because that glory was kept for Srila Prabhupada. That's why it is said that without Krishna's mercy, nobody can preach also, without his power. So that glory was kept for. Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually predicted that there will be a Senapati Bhakt, the commander-in-chief, who will appear and who will spread the whole Bhakti movement in the whole world. So the only Paschatya Desh. Okay. Anything else anyone would like to ask? Or and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his original Swarup, he is a Manjari in Golok Vrindavan. Which Manjari? Nayan Manjari. Nayan Manjari.
Time to like read about the, and read and teach others, like there's a time for that.
They hardly sleep. They hardly sleep. But he did that for 10 years to purify himself, and then he did the whole, whole soul preaching. Not that he stopped chanting. He must be chanting at least 64 rounds. That was the minimum that time. Or his full round mein his halat patli ho jati hai. But yes, I mean, he studied all the Vedas, all the scriptures since childhood. It was not like that we got this Krishna consciousness at the age of 30 or 40. He was since childhood, he was a pure soul. He knew everything anyway.
He took a vow to 1 billion rounds.
Yeah, in 10 years, that's what he did. Yeah. 10 years, yeah. So the point is that, okay, anyway, coming back to Manjaris, that he is Nayan Manjari in the eternal Golok Vrindavan Dham. And that appeared. So this whole parampara, that we are Gaudiya parampara that we are in, all our spiritual masters have their Swarup as Manjaris. Any spiritual master, the whole chain we say, there, and it is mentioned in the scriptures also. Gaur, Ganoptesh, all the which Acharya is which Manjari in the spiritual world. So it's like for Rup Goswami, he is Rup Manjari. And he is the pioneer of this Bhakti movement, and everyone is coming in his parampara there. And okay. So that's why I had this picture. I wanted to cover that. But we hardly have time. So there are various servants in the Golok Vrindavan. So there are Sakhis and there are Manjaris. And Sakhis, various types of categories are there. Some Sakhis are more favorable to Krishna in terms of service. Some are more favorable to Radharani. Some are neutral. So there are various categories of those Sakhis. And then there are Manjaris who are serving Radharani under those Sakhis, in which Rup Manjari is the prominent Manjari. She is under Lalita Sakhi. And these Manjaris, they don't think about Krishna. They think only about Radharani. They are only favorable to Radharani. Enjoy Krishna. Sakhis, they want to also enjoy with Krishna. They have that bhav. But Manjaris, they don't. And Sakhis are like up to 14 to 16 years age. These Manjaris are little girls, always 12 to 13 years old. And they have access to the intimate kunja and nikunjas of Krishna and Radha Krishna pastimes. Where Sakhis can't even go, even Sakhis can't go there. And they are doing more intimate services. Whatever pleasure Radharani is getting when she is serving Krishna, million times of that pleasure is enjoyed by these Manjaris. Although they don't hanker for that, but they are so much into Radharani's seva that whatever pleasure Radharani is getting, these Manjaris get millions times more pleasure than Radharani. But they are very, very pure. There's a very nice lecture by Guru Maharaj, how Manjaris, what is their mood, how they serve. I can share that. But it beautifully describes how they are serving in the intimate kunja nikunjas. So this is not revealed yet. Maybe in the future it may be revealed. But definitely he, some people say he was in the Sakya vow and the vow. This is all not right. Yes, yeah. So there is a very nice article by, what is the name of that Mataji who draws so many paintings? Yadurani Mataji. Shamarani afterward. She wrote a very nice article, long article, and proved how Srila Prabhupada is also Manjari in Golok Vrindavan. But again, we don't have to worry about that much. Any other question?
As you said, all the 64 mandiris, they appeared in Gaur Leela with all the acharyas and.
Yeah. Yeah, there are millions and billions of Manjaris though. Yeah. Then quickly, in maybe a couple of minutes, which will be, not enough. We also have disappearance of very, very wonderful Acharya who appeared recently, is Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj, and wonderful spiritual master in the ISKCON movement. And I wanted to cover it, but what should I cover? Anything special? Anyone? His grandfather was a devotee, continuously chanting 24 hours, even in the sleep, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then when his father left his body, then Maharaj married on the request of his mother. He went to the Grihastha ashram. And then at the age of 18, he left Grihastha ashram and started looking for a guru. Couldn't find. All over India he traveled, came to Vrindavan. And then in Vrindavan, he saw a big signboard of ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada. And somebody, a Westerner, they always do book distribution. So a person, a Westerner devotee, he gave him Back to Godhead magazine. He read it and he got so much impressed that he wanted to see Srila Prabhupada right away. And as soon as he went to the room of Srila Prabhupada knew. He asked, "Have you taken sannyas?" So he knew that this devotee is ready. First, second, initiation, see the sannyas. And 3 instructions Srila Prabhupada gave to him. One, translate his books from English to Odia. So Maharaj did a lot of translations. To build a temple in Bhubaneswar. So that ISKCON Bhubaneswar near Jagannath Puri is all his mercy. And to preach all over the world. And he did open, the name of the temple is also Shri Krishna Balram in Bhubaneswar. Just like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, very bold. So one should watch his videos. He used to sit for giving the katha, and he will take a chhata or some stick, and then he will literally, whoever is in the first row, they are gone. Samjhe na? Nahi samjhe? Tadak. Waiki mein. Lovingly, but you should watch these videos. Very powerful preacher. Never compromised on the Siddhanta. And he was very active in GBC meetings also. So once what happened is, one of the devotee in the GBC, he started insulting some other members. And he didn't say anything. But when he was leaving, so he told the GBC chairman, this person should be thrown right away. Right away. No, not that he's devotee, so we should just accept him. We should correct him right away, otherwise throw him out. Insult to devotees should not happen. So very, very strong preacher, very, very strong in philosophy. And his name before, when he was child, is Braj Bandhu, very sweet name. And there was one more pastime.
One pastime, somebody said, like, somebody put the board on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he said, like, do not change
the mood of, yeah. So he was very pakka in Siddhanta. That God Nitai came in the mood of devotee. So don't put more punk in his mukut, because that destroys his mood of being sevak. Now, so Srila Prabhupada, when the temple was built, Srila Prabhupada went to Bhubaneswar, ISKCON, and nice arrangement was done for him to stay. But Srila Gaur Govind Swami used to live in the hut in the same campus. So Srila Prabhupada said, I will stay with him in the hut. And he stayed there he was there for only 2 or 3 days. But he stayed there for 17 days, just with him and just Srila Prabhupada and Gaur Govind Swami. And they were discussing, devotees say that they were discussing very high level pastimes. So very, very special personality in the movement. And Srila Prabhupada lived with him for continuous 7 days that Srila Prabhupada has not done with anyone else. And there is another video. The title of the video, if you find, is given there. He went into ecstasy in Mayapur after the kirtan, and for 1 month or 2 months, he was not eating anything. He was just lying, and he was in totally ecstatic mood. No eating, no drinking, no movement, and then he came out after a month. So there is a video also made on this. So very, very advanced devotee. And yeah, one thing we should discuss. This is his deity, Gopalji. He used to worship them. And the way he left this world, he was not, he had some bodily issues, but he was not sick. He was preaching till end moment. So I will just read this pastime. On February 1996, on the holy appearance day of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, on the appearance day of Saraswati Thakur, he left. 2 senior ISKCON devotees requested an appointment in the early evening to see Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj. They had never spoken personally with him before, but had become very eager to hear from him after reading some of the books. They inquired, why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stay in Jagannath Puri? A lot of devotees asked this question. Delighted by their question, he began to explain the confidential significance of Mahaprabhu's pastimes in Puri. He lovingly described the pain of separation felt by Radha and Krishna when Krishna was away from Vrindavan. The mood in Jagannath Puri is it's a Braj Bhav, separation from Radharani. Enchanting all the devotees in his room with the nectarian topics of Krishna, he gradually unfolded the pastime to the point where Radha and Krishna were finally united after their long separation. He described how Krishna became so ecstatic upon seeing Radharani that he manifested a form with big round eyes, shrunken limbs, that is Lord Jagannath. So there are different pastimes that happen in different times related to Lord Jagannath. At that time, the devotee noticed that tears had come to his eyes, to Maharaj's eyes, and his voice had become choked up. Barely audible, he said, then the eyes of Krishna, then the eyes of Krishna fell upon the eyes of Radharani, eye to eye union. And then he, unable to continue, he apologized with folded hands. Please excuse me, I cannot speak. He then gave his last instruction. So he's already leaving the body now. He became so ecstatic that he cannot hold that body. Kirtan. Perform kirtan. The devotees present began to chant as their spiritual master calmly lay back on his bed, breathing slowly and deeply. A servant placed a picture of Gopalji in his hand. So Maharaj, Sankirtan chal raha hai, he is in ecstasy, and the picture of the Lord is in front of him. Then gazing lovingly at that picture of his worshipable deity, Gaur Govind Swami called out Gopal and departed for the spiritual sky to be united with his beloved Lord. So such a wonderful departure part-time. Srila Gaur Govind Goswami Maharaj ki, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sorry, I took a little longer, but there's so much to cover. Yes. So we need at least one lecture for each of them. Very strict and very loving. Yes. Any questions? Quick questions you can take about anything? that we discussed today. We discussed the Brahma-saṁhitā verse 34, how Krishna has so many qualities, and he can only be understood by prema bhakti, not just by scriptures. And then we saw the glorification of two wonderful personalities in the moment. Anything anyone would like to ask or add or correct? Okay, if no questions, very quickly, few announcements. Saturday, 25th February, we have arrival coming on. Hari Bol. So please save a calendar, and we have created an invite. Please do respond. That way, it will help us to plan better. So please do as soon as possible your RSVP on the invite. Various opportunities for seva. Then, of course, Sunday Love Feast program. We have morning Japa call, Srimad Bhagavatam calls. Still going on? Okay. And all the programs in the summary that we have, so many programs every day or weekly basis. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
We still have the t-shirt, you know, the last year. So all have one in the.
Here?
Yeah.
Come to a temple.
Last election, so you can read them.
Yes. When everybody will come on the 25th February, maybe Bhavya, can you see? Yeah. Now we have to renew t-shirts for this festival. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, we can start our,